Hey, what's going on, everybody? Excuse the mess in my garage. I've been trying to organize, throw some crap out, but as you're working on things, it tends to just keep getting dirtier and dirtier. Anyway, so I figured I'd give you guys an update. The red car, the GSR that we're restoring back to stock, I got the quarter panels patched up on. It actually looks really good. I just need to sand them out a little bit more. However, we're hitting the point where it's too cold to work outside, and when I get off of work, it's pretty much dark when I get home. So what I have to do is I have to get the white turbo car running, at least to pull in and out of the garage, so I can get the red car in and out of the garage as needed. So today what we're doing is, as you can see, I have a couple things laid out here. We're going to be putting my head on to my LS bottom end. So I'm doing an LSVtec conversion. What that entails is running a B18A or B1 bottom end. The B20 VTEC's the same thing, just a bigger displacement with some type of VTEC head. Now the one I have sitting over there, that is a GSR head, the B18C3 head that originally came off of the motor that's in my car right now. I was actually going to boost this motor. I pulled the head off to put head studs and everything on. I figured I actually wanted to run a B16 head, which is on there right now, but me being indecisive, I decided just to shred that. I'm gonna rebuild that bottom end. It runs, but I just want to refreshen it, and I need to get that head refreshened as well. So I'll just make it like a poor man's Type R setup, essentially. So what I'm doing today is I've already got a little bit of stuff done here. I had to drill out my head gasket for my dowel pins because I'm running an LS head gasket. Also had to drill out the dowel pins for my head studs that are sitting right there. If you're running the eBay stuff, you're going to have to do this. It is what it is. If you go with the Golden Eagle setup, this is all done for you, so you don't have to worry about it, which is what I would recommend if you have the money. However, I've been accumulating these parts over time. I already had it here. I could have bought the Golden Eagle setup, but I was like, at this point, man, I'll just use what I have. So what I'm gonna do right now is I have to get my head gasket that's sitting right there. I'm going to copper spray that. Some people say it works, some people say it doesn't work. When it comes to putting together motors, you do what you're comfortable with. I'm not here to tell you that you're right or wrong. Just follow your tolerances and your torque specifications. That's really all that I care about. But if you want to run non-copper spray gasket, definitely do it. But if you're like me and just enjoy the peace of mind on something that is questionable at best, then do it, whatever. So I'm gonna get that set up. I gotta find somewhere to hang it. I'll probably just hang it up right here or something, or somewhere in the garage, and I'm gonna get it sprayed down. I'll bring you guys back once that's done. All right, so I got the head gasket copper sprayed. I just hung it up on this coat hanger right here, and I just did 2 coats per side. I don't think it really needs more than that. Then I let it sit for a couple minutes, put it on there. Some people say let it dry a little bit longer, but I like to put it on tacky. It is what it, like I said, it's all personal preference. Hell, a lot of people don't even agree with doing this anyway. So next course of action here is I'm going to be putting in my head studs into the block. Now you can do this 2 different ways, I suppose. I do it normal. So what I do is I put the grease on the threads and I run them down. Some people actually go ahead and put like thread sealer in there, and I don't do that because, hypothetically speaking, if something were to happen to this block, and I blow it up, or just put a hole in it, because I mean, if it spins a bearing, I'm not really worried about that. Or if a main goes, then I'd have to completely swap out the block. I won't be able to get those out, and that's not a big deal. But if you spent a good amount of money on something that's rated to be used at least 3 times, I don't want to use it just once. I want to get it 3 times. That way I'm actually getting my money's worth out of them. So that's why I'm not going to put like some red Loctite or anything on there. I'm just going to put the grease in, pop them in, thread them down, make sure they're all sitting even, and then we'll get the head put on. The head's sitting over there. I just cleaned up the surface a little bit more. It's a little dirty just from sitting in, old head gasket residue. It's not a big, you have a little plastic scraper. I'll just get all that off of. I do have the, see it there on the corner. I do have the block off in there for the LSVtec setup. So I'm gonna go ahead, get these greased up and run down, and I'll bring you guys. All right, so I got the head studs in. Obviously, like I said, you want to lubricate your shafts because you never want to go in dry. All right, it's a bad idea. But what I do at this point is I also lubricate the threads, the top threads that go through the head, because it's really just a giant pain to try to get in there while you're like bolting down the head. Now you could put them inside of the nuts and then thread them on, But at this point, this way I know it's all covered and I don't have to worry about a thread being dry for whatever reason, even though it shouldn't be. But just peace of mind here. That way, you know, I can see that it's all been threaded. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get an Allen socket. I got to figure out what size these are. Run them down to the ground. Make sure they're all like even, sitting level and tight. And we'll go ahead and toss the head on, and we'll go from there. Right, so one thing I meant to mention before I cut my last video is that there's supposed to be a O-ring, or not an O-ring, but a copper ring right here that you can see on the back of the block right there. I removed this. Reason being is because it actually hits the cylinder head, and some people get away with it. They say you don't have to take them out. I do it just for peace of mind. The back ones don't make any contact on the cylinder head the same way they don't make any contact on the block itself, but these front two right here, they float on the block, but they do make contact on the cylinder head. Now, I don't know if there's a benefit to having those on there. My thought process is that they're just there to keep the layers of the head gasket together. So I don't see any reason that it would be negative to take them out, especially considering I still have two of them there and they're still sitting even within the layers of each other. I'm pretty sure if someone out there knows something different than I, please enlighten me, but I just always recommend removing them. That way you can take it out of the scenario and you don't have to worry about leaking, at least coming from the front part of the head gasket here. All right, so I got the head on. A lot of times if you're doing this, especially with the head studs, you tend to fight the head going on all the way. I find it easy once all the studs are lined up in the holes and it's still giving you, you know, some troubles not wanting to sit all the way down. Just grab your handy dandy mallet, knock it on a side or two, it'll drop, no problem. So as you can see, oop, a little crappy recording. There you go. It's all there. We're all set. All we got to do is actually tighten and torque it down. So the next thing to do here is, of course, after I put the nuts and the washers in for the head studs and get them torqued down, what you want to do is, if you have the LSVtec conversion, this guy right here. So there's actually a plug that's supposed to go there. Let me pull this out real quick. It's supposed to go in this hole. All right. With the LSVtec conversion, this is going to be a feed line coming straight from the sandwich plate, and or if you want to run it off of where the oil pressure sending unit is up to here, that's fine. What that is doing, if I can talk, is feeding extra oil into the head. Otherwise you would have a lot of oil starvation, because the LSs don't have the port that flows like the VTEC does to actually get your rockers and everything all lubricated and right. Because like I said, you never want to go dry. That's just a bad idea. That's how you spin bearings and you chafe and all that fun stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some thread sealer actually on this, and I'm gonna get it in there. But I'm getting too far ahead of myself with that. I need to get this head torqued down. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the nuts and the washers placed in there. That's a little bit of a pain. If you guys have ever done it, you understand, like sometimes the washers don't want to go in there the way you want them in there. So what I'm gonna do here is I'll get my magnet and just kind of slowly place them on there. Another thing I find easy to do is I actually just put them on my pinky, like jam my pinky on it and just pop it down in there and just like twist and get it to fall in. Whatever is easiest for you. I'm not going to bore you with recording all that. I'm just going to keep giving you guys updates on what I'm doing, because it's been done so many times it's redundant at this point, and I feel like it's stupid for me to sit here and be like, hey, let me show you guys how to do something that every other Honda owner that's ever had a B series has done on YouTube at some point in time, because it's stupid. So I'll bring you guys back once that's torqued down and show you what's going on. All right, so I got it torqued down. I use the ARP standards, but I do it in 4 steps actually, because I torque a little higher. So I go 20, 40, 60, and after the 60, I step it up to 70. That's just my preference, how I like to do it. I've seen people run these things all the way up to almost 100 foot-pounds. I wouldn't do it personally, but if you're having some major head lift issues, I guess you got to do what you got to do, whatever. This car won't see that. This car will maybe see low 4s, maybe. I'm thinking like a mid 3-wheel car on a good day, you know, and capable of doing a lot more than that, obviously, but I don't want it to. You know, I'm overbuilding for the simple fact that I want it to be reliable. I don't want to push it to its limits. So now that I have this torque down here, I'm gonna go ahead and start moving on to some of the tapping. So like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and get the thread sealer, thread that in there so I can run that line. I have to wait on putting the cams in. They're right there. Those are actually ITR cams that are going in this, because I don't know what I did with the retainers. running around here somewhere. I know I had 2 sets, obviously, because one of the sets is in there, but I have no idea where they could have possibly gone. This is why you should organize your crap. My garage looks like absolute garbage, but it is what it is. I'll have to wait till everything's out of the way to actually clean and organize. I can't really do it while I have a car in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with that. And if it comes down to it and I just can't find it for whatever reason, I'm just gonna pull them out of that guy right there. It's not a big deal because that motor's not gonna be running anytime soon. Eventually, I do think it ended up in the Civic that's sitting outside, but other than that, it can just sit in the garage for now. So I'm gonna go ahead. I have some thread sealer here, right here actually, and we're just gonna put some right in here. You can use Teflon tape, but I find it a lot easier just to use the Teflon paste, which is the thread sealer that I'm using. For the simple fact of you don't have to worry about if you put it on right or the wrong way, because I believe you're supposed to go counterclockwise of the threads and then thread it into wherever it's going. But I don't know, I always have a bad time with it. This stuff right here, you don't have to deal with it. Just pop it on there, thread it in, call it a day, done. So I'm gonna do that real quick. I'll bring you guys back. All right, so I got my sandwich plate on. I got the oil feed to the head all on, threaded in and sealed. The oil feed to the turbo is going around. I pulled the old sending unit out. I have a aftermarket digital oil pressure gauge that's going in because I believe the sending unit is pretty useless. The only time it actually trips, I feel like, is when it's too late, and nobody wants that. I want to be able to see where my oil pressure's at. So I got to pull that off the back of this block. As you can see, it's right there. Pull that, we'll put it in here, we'll get that all situated, and then I'm gonna start actually taking out these cam covers, because I don't know where my other set is, so I'm gonna have to use the ones off of the C3 and toss them on here, and maybe just order some different ones or something, or see if I can get lucky and maybe one of my friends or somebody local has some I can pick up. That way I have another set specifically for this motor, that way I don't have to worry about it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put you guys down once again. I'm sorry, I just don't feel like me recording every little thing that I'm doing is all that entertaining. Like, I don't see any benefit of it, most of it being so straightforward. You know, it's redundant, I feel. So I'm gonna put you guys down. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, and I'll bring you back once I got, hopefully, most of this motor going together, and then we'll grab my timing stuff and everything in that box. We'll put everything together. My goal is to have it complete as possible on the stand, and I'm going to bolt the turbo and manifold up to it, just, you know, for the aesthetic appeal of it. And we'll see what happens after that. All right, so this is where I'm going to end this video off. I gotta do some cleaning up. I'm disgusting, of course. My garage needs to be cleaned and organized because I've just been like tossing stuff everywhere looking for things, unfortunately. But this is where we are. So I pulled the cams out of that setup and just smacked them in there. Reason being is because I really didn't want to fight with the cam gears to put them on the Type R cams, but I need to have the Type R cams looked at because there's a couple pits in there that I don't really think would be a major issue, but just for peace of mind, I'd rather have them at least looked at, maybe regrinded if they need to be, you know, just to be on the safe side of everything. So yeah, this is where we're leaving off. I still have to put the timing belt on, obviously, and do the timing, and I need to do a valve adjustment as well. I'll probably do that tomorrow evening. I won't record that. I'll just, hopefully the next time I do a video, this will all be buttoned up. That way we don't have to worry about this anymore, and we'll move on to getting this knocked out. And I'll probably time lapse pulling the motor and transmission, and in that same video I'm going to go ahead and get my engine bay prepped, because this car sat for so long and I don't think it was ever actually, though, you know, like sprayed down or cleaned. So I'm gonna do that myself. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going ahead and push the car out, or if I'm just gonna sit here and do it by hand in the warmth. But obviously that'd take a lot longer than just pushing it out and using a pressure washer or something. So we'll see. I'll figure it out when I come back to it. As far as everything else goes here, I got the turbo mocked up just so we could actually see what it's going to look like. It looks pretty tight. I mean, GT30 is a tough turbo. If we're going just based off of how it looks, I'm a huge Ricer fanboy of the anti-surge housing. I love the way they sound. I mean, this thing should do well. I got to upgrade Wastegates. This just came in a kit that I bought I don't know. I had a tile running around somewhere and I don't know where it's at. So unfortunately I'm stuck with this, and I'm pretty sure there's only like an 8-pound spring in there, which isn't going to be nearly enough for what I want to do. So either I'm gonna end up putting a different spring in here, or we're just going to ditch this altogether. I'm not sure yet. Seems nowadays people have been getting away with eBay stuff pretty well. Like, I mean, this is my second GT30 turbo that I've had, and the first one lasted a long time. I ended up messing up because I had a BR rev limiter on there, and of course I was being a Ricer hot boy, so I was two-stepping the living crap out of it every second I got, and the seals just got too hot and gone. But before all that, it was a great turbo. It has a really good spool time, and I believe with this being a little bit higher compression, I'd say it's probably going to spool a little bit quicker than when I had it on a straight GSR. So that should be fun. Other than that, I got to get a couple sensors and a coolant plug right here, which I have a spare motor. I'm just going to go ahead and pull that stuff off of. This is your engine coolant temp sensor, and this is just a coolant pathway that needs to have I guess like a plug, not a plug, but just a, you guys know what I'm talking about, whatever. Yeah, So other than that, I got to figure out which throttle body I'm going to run, because I have 2 of them. I have a 3 of them. I have a factory one, which this blocks intake is for a factory port. And then I have a Skunk 2 one, which is opened up massively, but then I'd have to open this up as well. Otherwise I'm gonna have the tumbling effect, which we don't want. So honestly, I'll probably just toss a stock throttle body on there and call it a day. But other than that, this is where I'm gonna leave off, man. I feel like we've had a really successful day. You know, we take the little wins around here. That's what keeps us pushing. And hopefully within the next month, we can at least start this thing. I wouldn't say it's gonna run, but you know, start it. I can pull it in and out of the garage under its own power. That's the goal. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching. Hopefully we'll get back and get to getting the red Integra done here soon. That way I can get it proper and flipped, so somebody else can go enjoy having a numbers matching GSR car, because there's no reason that I need 2 of them. Even though with the prices nowadays, I may want to hold on to it, because at this point it's an investment. But I don't want to be that guy. I don't want anything that, I don't want to keep a hold of something that I don't need just because it's expensive. You know, that sounds ridiculous, and it's not fair to other people who may be looking for a car that don't necessarily have, you know, the 6 or 7 grand right now to go and buy a clean Integra, because that's pretty much what they're going for. And I've even seen, like, when bring a trailer, some of these GSR cars are bringing in some huge amounts of money. So if I can get that looking decent, it already runs perfectly fine, fix a couple things here and there on the red car, and get it flipped to somebody for like maybe 4,500 bucks. You know what I mean? It's got some miles on it, but it's still healthy. That way they can enjoy having an Integra, and they don't have to, you know, go and take out a personal loan or sell their firstborn kid just to get one. And on top of that, speaking of Integras, y'all see this new Integra? I mean, this new Honda Accord Cross Tour? What's it? I don't know. Whatever. Honda, figure it out. But anyway, that's it, guys. Much appreciation to you. I hope you guys are being safe and having fun, and